Well, the Port of Indiana Burns Harbor is one of 3 statewide ports located on Lake Michigan and situated on 2 major North American freight transportation arteries, the Great Lakes and the Inland Waterway System. The state's 3-port system serves really one of the world's most productive industrial and agricultural regions. The port is also currently in the middle of a $20 million expansion here. The 600-acre port, also home to more than 30 companies. And one day could be become a destination for cruise ships with tourists to explore Northwest Indiana. And it's time now for a special edition of The Insiders. This week we're talking all things Northwest Indiana, from the Westlake Corridor project to the focus on getting more people to move to Indiana from Illinois, to how the region is stepping up its workforce development game. And I'm pleased to be joined by Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson, also NIPSCO Economic Development Director Don Babcock, and South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority President and CEO Speros Batistatos. And welcome one and all to The Insiders.
Thank you for having us.
And Mayor, I'll start with you. And you'll be leaving office at the end of the year. You're going to head up the Chicago Urban League, so a big job for you. But you will be wrapping up 2 terms, 8 years. You've seen a lot in Gary and the region. How would you assess the state of the region as we sit here today?
I think the state of the region is very strong. I think we have come together cohesively in a way to focus on our assets, namely our commuter rail through the Westlake and the investment on the double tracking, tourism. You see, we're here in the Mascot Hall of Fame. We have really leveraged our lakeshore, the recreational side at Marquette Park and Gary and Portage and Michigan City, all along the lakefront. And so I think that we are working together extremely well, and it's really working to the benefit of all residents.
Do you sense that things are beginning to come together that maybe weren't happening before? Collaboration, cooperation, some of these things you talked about are now beginning to get that snowball effect going.
Oh, that's absolutely the case. I think one thing is that we have the leadership of a very engaged congressman. He has been working hard to provide infrastructure and other things that we need here in Northwest Indiana from Washington, because you have to have a partner in the federal government. But you also have organizations like NIPSCO, like the Regional Development Authority, and like the South Shore Convention and Visitors Association. All of those organizations are working together so that everyone from Northwest Indiana is sort of on the same page.
Speros, the Mayor talked about talent and attracting people from Illinois. I know you're engaged in that in a big way among other projects.
I would, but before we leave this topic, I would be remiss if I didn't point out, and the Mayor's always too humble and too much of a team player, but if the Congressman were here, he'd tell you the very first person, the very first city on board with Westlake and the double track expansion was Gary. And you could have made an argument that said, well, we could prioritize our money differently, we have needs. And you know what, from the day one, Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson saw what's good for the region is good for Gary and vice versa, and to her credit, jumps in as a team player. So it's not just an observation. She's lived that throughout her career in this region.
I particularly appreciate, even from day one, her focus on inclusion and respect for diversity and different points of view in terms of how to advance the region and move the place forward.
Well, let's talk about the connectivity, because it's so important for all parts of the state. But Speros, I'll begin with you on that.
The move to Indiana is incredibly successful. Sure. We've been very fortunate. We have a number of municipalities coming in, seeing that it pays to advertise what's going on along those investments that are being driven at multiple layers of government. And we're seeing housing starts happening all over Crown Point, Cherville. It's just the housing stock in that side of the county is going crazy. I'm going to challenge everybody to take a fresh look at what's going on in the region on the South Shore, because there are hidden secrets and gems everywhere, not just in the communities that you hear about all the time.
Speros absolutely right. I've in fact talked to a number of insurance agents who have said we are doing just incredible business, renters, people who are purchasing homes in the city of Gary, who want a quieter lifestyle, who want more of a family-oriented life, and they are looking all over Northwest Indiana, including Gary.
Don, it would seem all these things coming together. Right. The South Shore extension in a long time coming, 30 plus years maybe.
Oh, easy. And I was around when we first, my mom actually rode the South Shore from East Chicago, Indiana. We grew up in Highland. little 746 square foot home. But she's the poster child of, and I'm the product of that, of being a little bitty house, drove every day to the South Shore Station, East Chicago, catching a train to Chicago for a better job, bringing the money home, and raising 3 kids.
Sure.
And I'm a Purdue, Northwest Indiana grad, first my family to go to college.
As you look at the perception of the region too, all these things you're talking about here, that perception outside of Northwest Indiana to people looking here, it's a different, seems like it's a region in transition.
Well, it is changed. So I have to give I haven't done this yet, but good afternoon, Northwest Indiana.
I sure hope this is running in the afternoon.
And I do that routinely because I think one of the ways to change communities is you really hang around with good people, people that believe in each other. Listen to the naysayers relative to when they have something worthwhile to incorporate in the plan.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you got to stay with the yaysayers. And we have a lot of yaysayers now in Northwest Indiana. We used to be pretty much described as the Rust Belt, and we're moving very much to the Green Belt.
Well, and you talk about the national park designation
Oh, absolutely.
for this.
That's
What does that mean
huge.
for the region?
We are very proud of
Yeah.
it.
There are 426 national something or others. Lake shores, seashores, through, you name it. There's 26 different monikers of national places. The funny thing is that nothing changed here. We didn't get any more money. The boundaries didn't grow. There aren't any more park rangers. One little 4-letter word, park. Took us from one of 426 to one of 61. And the cachet that word brings with it, we saw this year throughout the region. Lake, Porter, LaPorte, all of us saw incredible, because the park touches all 3 of our counties. We saw incredible visitation numbers, record-setting years. Now we just keep working on spending. I want you to come in and visit the park, but I don't want you driving home right away.
Right.
So we have an opportunity to parlay from that national park into national brands of gaming loyalty and recognition that we didn't have before. While we had some pieces of the puzzle, which were doing great, we are not going to have that Hard Rock brand. And I'll let you kind of take it from there. I mean,
About
that's
30
just
seconds, Mayor.
That's incredible to have a partner in Hard Rock, to have it on the 8094 corridor. It will take not just gaming, but development, related and unrelated assets, light years.
All right.
Become more of a destination. It's really what
It will
amounts to.
become a destination.
entertainment, I mean, it's just all, all of them.
Absolutely.
Again, we have great casino partners throughout the region. So
do.
I don't want
We
any,
absolutely do.
this is just a final feather in that cap of great entertainment, live entertainment, and a brand that
And we're going to get to linger longer. So
Right.
come to visit and stay.
Yes.
you got a future in hospitality if you ever decide.
He does, he does.
With that, we'll put a wrap on another edition of The Insiders. Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson, thank you. Good luck in your new
Thank you.
endeavor, your next chapter. Speros, Batistatos, also Don Babcock.
Hey,
thank
thanks,
you for
Gary.
being here.
Great
And
job.
Thank you
Glad
for
to have
being
you up
here.
in the region. It's
Thanks. It's
wonderful.
great to be here.
Thanks for being here.
And we'll be right back after this. Stay with us.